Yesterday was the wedding. In the middle of the ceremony, my older sister, who had been missing, suddenly barged in, snatched my fiancé, and eloped. Even in this situation, we still have to pay the cancellation fee for the wedding. As if this were some kind of fiction. But no, my sister really showed up at the ceremony, grabbed my fiancé's hand right in front of me, and walked out of the venue. Just thinking about it drives me crazy. The cancellation fee is around $45,000. Of course, I can't cover it with just my savings from 3 years of working, so it looks like I'll have to borrow from my parents and the bank. I didn't want to inconvenience my parents. Unlike my sister, I wanted my parents to see me getting married and becoming independent, to reassure them. Why? My fiancé and I are in our mid-20s, the same age, got engaged at the beginning of last year, and had the wedding yesterday. My sister is in her late 20s and had been missing until now. It was really the perfect wedding, until she showed up. Friends, parents, and even kind in-laws, everyone was smiling. I felt so happy realizing that I could marry my beloved fiancé, Adam. Just as we finished exchanging rings and were about to kiss, things started getting noisy outside. We could hear voices arguing beyond the door. Then the doors of the venue burst open, and amidst pushing aside the staff, a woman stormed in. She was wearing a white bodycon dress with a tiara perched on her head, running towards us. When my parents and I saw her face, we realized who she was and were speechless. It was my sister, who had suddenly quit her job and disappeared a few years ago. Why is she here? Is her face a bit different? Why show up at this moment? While I was panicking, she called out, "Adam. I'm here to take you away," calling Adam's name. And then, my parents and I were even more bewildered. And Adam, with gleaming eyes, rushed towards my sister. "Let's go! Let's be happy together!" Saying that, they held hands and just left. At that moment, I couldn't accept the reality in front of me and apparently fainted. When I woke up, I was in the waiting room, with my parents looking pale and my in-laws holding my hand. They had run away, and of course, the wedding was interrupted. Since I'm the only one the cancellation fee can be billed to, I ended up paying the full amount. And of course, Adam's phone is also unreachable. With no clues about my sister, I was at a loss. As for why Adam and my missing sister were connected, well, Adam and I, though we're working now, have been dating since college. When we used to hang out in my hometown, he did meet my sister a few times. He knew her. But none of us, not even my parents or in-laws, knew that they had become close enough to elope. Then, one of Adam's colleagues came to the waiting room, saying they needed to talk, and spilled the beans. According to this colleague, my sister was working as a hostess, and Adam had been a regular client there. We were completely caught off guard since we had no idea my sister was working at a hostess club, or that Adam was frequenting such places. Sure, Adam often came home late at night, but I just thought it was part of his job as a software engineer. I never suspected anything fishy. Turns out, according to this colleague, Adam was finishing work on time and diligently heading straight to the club where my sister worked. Apparently, Adam knew about my sister's disappearance, so the dramatic scenario of reuniting with her at the club became a thrilling narrative for them. Hearing they hooked up the same day they met made my head spin. From there, it escalated to Adam frequently visiting the club, gossiping about me with my sister, going to hotels together afterward, and forming this cheating relationship. The colleague apologized profusely for keeping silent, even went down on their knees. They even provided evidence, like text messages where Adam proudly mentioned taking my sister to a hotel, which confirmed everything. I had known since our college days that Adam liked going to bars. Maybe I was too lenient. Hearing about Adam's frequent visits to the club from his colleague, I became suspicious. The colleague said Adam was there most of the week, but Adam wasn't making that much money. So, I wondered where he was getting the funds from. When I returned home to the apartment we shared, I checked our joint savings account. It was shocking. The savings, which had been steadily accumulating, were suddenly being withdrawn in large amounts starting from a certain day. And now, there was only 6 cents left in the account. It was undoubtedly Adam's doing. I was furious and determined to find them no matter what, so I entered Adam's private room, which I had never done before, in search of clues. He must have been careless because I found a paper bag from a women's jewelry shop under his desk. Inside, I discovered receipts for expensive accessories and fancy restaurants. Of course, Adam never gave me any expensive jewelry or took me to such fancy restaurants. I mean, he proposed to me at a local diner. We had just the usual pasta and soda from the drink bar. With the money spent at the fancy restaurant with my sister, we could have had pasta and soda from that diner how many times? I'm perfectly fine with everyday meals at that diner. Actually, I liked the normalcy of it when he proposed. But I also wanted to have a nice meal with him. Now that I knew where to look, I also found my sister's hostess business card in his work bag. I found a notebook with passwords written in it, allowing me to access his computer. There were photos taken at a hotel, and though I almost deleted them on impulse, I resisted and transferred them to my phone. I had the evidence of their affair, but there were no clues to their whereabouts. Maybe I should hire a private investigator. I'll try to find one myself. However, 3 days after they disappeared, Adam and my sister were found. I can't help but chuckle at how ridiculous they are. Their little escapade of love was incredibly short-lived. It's actually hilarious, but I received a call from a supermarket in the neighboring county saying Adam and my sister were caught shoplifting beer. They seem to be keeping them there until someone comes to pick them up. I feel like they turned the supermarket into a daycare center. I'm so sorry. So, I quickly rounded up Adam and my sister, both completely drunk even though it was daytime. Apparently, they decided to buy more booze since they were already tipsy, but then realized they didn't have their wallets. So, in a casual manner like, oops. Forgot my wallet. What should we do, Adam? Paying is such a hassle anyway, just take it. They ended up deciding to shoplift. Oh no. I forgot my wallet. What should we do, Adam? I'm too lazy to deal with payment stuff, just take it with you. Let's do some shoplifting. We'll grab these 4 beers. And they were apparently making a ruckus, shouting loudly. They never expected to actually get caught by the manager, so when they were taken to the backyard, they panicked together. They didn't want to involve the police, but they had no money to pay for the beer. So, Adam, thinking it was too much of a hassle, nominated me as their guardian and had the manager call me. I felt so embarrassed, being mistaken as their ally. I just wanted to disappear. Even though we needed to discuss things about the future, I was exhausted. 2 months later. Finally, I confirmed that the compensation and other expenses were deposited in a lump sum. With that, it's essentially all over. Actually, on that day after picking them up from the supermarket, I secretly headed to my parents' house. Since I went to pick them up in my car, they relaxed without a care in the world. I thought we were going to the police for real. Getting so mad for just a little theft, they're on the verge of going out of business due to the recession, aren't they? They were so furious steam was coming out of their heads. Iris, we're gonna take a nap, drop us off at a good spot. Thanks. Without any suspicion, they immediately fell asleep as soon as they closed their eyes. Thanks to that, we arrived smoothly at my parents' house without any suspicion. When I woke them up from the back seat, they were both dumbfounded to see the house standing in front of them. Adam seemed particularly reluctant, his face turned pale, trembling. Hey, why the heck are we at your parents' house? We said just drop us off anywhere. This is the right place for me. Now get out. I pulled their arms, guiding them into the house. I'm home. I brought them. As I opened the door to the living room, both Adam and my sister were speechless. In the living room, not only my parents but also his parents were there, glaring at the two of them. Why the hell are your folks here too? Because I called them. After receiving a call to come pick them up from the supermarket, I contacted my in-laws and parents to let them know I found the two of them and brought them home. Iris, did you trick us? That's terrible. We just took a little, it's not a big deal. Shut up. It was my father who shouted at my sister to silence her. And what about you? Disappearing and then showing up just to shoplift. Plus, you were both dressed sloppily, drinking and staggering around in broad daylight. Adam's father was also yelling, his face turning red. Both Adam and my sister, in their gray sweatsuits, looked so sloppy and drunk that it seemed to fuel their anger. "You're being noisy. Shut it, Pops. Sermons are such a drag. We don't need that kind of stuff." With that complaint, the two of them suddenly went bomb. Adam got punched by his father, while my sister got slapped by her father. "Ouch, that hurts like hell." In tears from the pain, both of them screamed simultaneously. In the 3 days Adam was missing, he seemed to have picked up my sister's habits and turned into a delinquent. He was an office worker just a few days ago, but to fall so easily like that. "I hate to see you guys in pain, but there's no way I can go forward with Adam anymore, so I'm calling off the engagement. And I'll be demanding compensation for infidelity from both of you. Maybe around $15,000 each. Plus, the 4 beers you stole. Since you guys will probably bail on paying, make sure to settle in one lump sum." As I informed the wincing pair, surprisingly spry, they began to lash out at me. "Why the heck should we pay you compensation? We haven't even filed the marriage papers yet. You're just making excuses to get back at us for Adam, you fraud." As the two of them screamed, my father-in-law slammed his hand on the table and retorted, "If you're engaged, you can claim compensation. Idiots. And even if not, I'll make sure you pay. Plus, you're paying cancellation fees for ruining Iris's wedding. Cancellation fee of $45,000, please." "What? Why do I have to pay?" "Why do you think you don't have to pay?" I think not only me but also my parents and in-laws thought the same thing. We all inadvertently exchanged looks. I'm not trying to defend him, but when we were together, he was a normal guy. Plus, he graduated from law school. To see his dramatic downfall left us all dumbfounded. Adam and my sister started to scream like children. "Iris, I didn't know you were such a money-grubbing bitch. This is fraud, fraud. Plus, we got wedding gifts. Use those to offset it, you hag. What are you trying to offset with what? And since the wedding was cancelled, it's obvious we should return the gifts." My sister was surprised by my response. "What the hell are you returning them for, you bitch?" I couldn't take it anymore and grabbed my sister by the collar, yelling back, "Of course we're returning them. You clueless idiot. And Adam will fully repay the joint savings he embezzled." My expression must have been terrifying because my sister burst into tears. I'm the one who wants to cry. Neither my parents nor my in-laws supported my sister's claims. My sister started to flap around like a dying cicada, crying, "No, no, no! I can't pay! I can't pay! I can't pay! I can't go gambling!" Ah! I was utterly repulsed by the sight of a gambling addict before my eyes. Then, my sister, with tears in her eyes, began to beg her parents. "Mom, Dad, Iris is bullying me. I can't pay compensation. It's my lifelong request. Please pay for me." Bomb. The sound of my gentle and kind mother slapping my sister echoed in the room. "Our only daughter is Iris alone, so I don't know whose daughter you're talking about, but you've sown what you reap, so please resolve it yourself." I was grateful to my mother for refusing to help with any payments and even declaring disinheritance. Upon sensing his mother's calm judgment, Adam suddenly started groveling to his own mother. Mom, I am not that terrible, right? I'll do whatever I can to make it right, you know, so," he stammered. The in-laws exchanged glances and sighed. "Adam, it seems you still don't grasp the gravity of what you've done. You've ruined your own future. We won't be helping you anymore," they declared. Adam, who had intended to ask his parents to cover his payments just like my sister, found himself cut off from his family ties. Now, both of them had no choice but to fend for themselves. Realizing her parents wouldn't help, the sister, instead of storming out as expected, screamed, "I'm pregnant. And yet you still want money, you monsters. I was surprised by her guts to resist. Bringing this up now, it can only mean one thing, a blatant lie. Adam, with a delighted expression, clasped his sister's hand. Is it true?
Yeah.
It's true, it's yours, Adam.
All right.
Hey, Iris. She is carrying my kid. And you still want to take the money? What are those idiots who got caught trying to steal beer even saying? With their level of idiocy, it's no wonder they're hooked on cabaret clubs. I had to restrain myself from calling them idiots and calmly asked my sister, "Since when have you been pregnant?" To which she confidently replied, 6 months ago. Both our mother and mother-in-law, who have experience with childbirth, scrutinized her slender figure and raised their eyebrows. 6 months ago? Then you should have a bigger belly by now. Even if you're on the thinner side, your stomach should be bigger. Show us your maternity record. They demanded evidence, perhaps as convinced as I am that she's lying. But all she did was insist, it's true. The growth is slow. Fed up with the conversation, I decided to provoke her. Hey, sis, can't provide evidence? Are you worried Adam might find out? Like, maybe it's not Adam's kid? As expected, she flew off the handle. Shut up. Don't doubt me. I saw the baby's photo in the human doc machine. Even Adam, who had been so happy until now, seemed to deflate at her shoddy lie. Perhaps feeling deflated by her lie, Adam reluctantly signed the agreement for payment and even forced his sister to sign. Come on, sign too. It's partly your fault this happened. What? Blaming me? Don't force me to sign with your pen. And besides, you're the one who led me to believe we were getting married. Who cares who started it? Just sign already, you liar. They bickered while signing the agreement. And today, the deadline set in the agreement, we confirmed the transfer from both of them. Dealing with those fools was tough, but there's a satisfying feeling of getting the job done. This whole ordeal taught me something for the first time. My sister didn't just disappear, she got hooked on card game, quit her job on her own, and had a falling out with our parents, leading to her running away. So when it came time to pay up, she was clamoring about not being able to play card. But now, it seems she's in debt just to pay my compensation, so she probably doesn't have time for card game. There are rumors she quit cabaret and entered the prostitution industry. Adam's coworker told me, Adam was fired while he was missing, probably because he was absent without leave and the news of his wedding spread throughout the company. Now I'm doing high-paying day labor gigs. I got influenced by my sister and was trying to act like a Yankee, so I don't think I can go back to being a regular office worker, you know? The day after our discussion, I collapsed with a high fever, but now I'm fine. After all, I welcomed a stray cat I found near the company as a new family member. It's cheeky and incredibly cute. It's been a total healing experience.